In June, I found myself in Anaheim, California for VidCon, an annual celebration of internet clout. A place where fans can come rub elbows with their favorite creators, and creators can connect with each other and brands. I was extremely uncomfortable at first, but by the end I had calmed down to only very uncomfortable. If you had any sizable following at all, you had access to a secondary location where TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. had set up their lounges. The Instagram afterparty is the most exclusive thing I've ever been allowed into. It felt like a dream, one where you recognized almost everyone around you, but you didn't really care because you couldn't lift your arms. You were so smushed together trying to get just one of the goldfish bowl-shaped glowing drinks. I got a ride to San Diego and met with my friend who has a real job and was there for a diabetes convention. What a vibe shift of a convention. Anyway, I was on my way to cross the border into Mexico. San Isidro, between San Diego and Tijuana, is the busiest border in the world. In fact, there is so much daily crossover that they are often considered one municipal greater area, despite being in two different countries. You can be sitting in traffic for 4 hours, or as I learned earlier this year, you can just walk the pedestrian bridge in no time. Back in February, my friend and I walked across, despite warnings of the cartel and police turf war making the city literally the world's highest murder rate. On the other side, we were picked up by my now good friend Matingas, a TJ tour guide who literally wrote the book on Baja tourism.
I do private tours in Tijuana. This tour started at 9:30 a.m., so the first stop was coffee at Nativo. Touring with me is Carson and Derek from Florida, but they live in New York.
We followed the border wall down to the beach where it ends, where we saw, of all things, Amish people? Well, I thought Amish. Technically, they are Mennonitas. Still surprising. Amish on the beaches of Tijuana. There are Amish on the beaches of Tijuana. Maybe Mennonites, how should I know? I don't know. Drive down with me to where the border meets the sea and where the murder currently exceeds the rates of any other city. Think of all the crazy things to see, but surely not Amish on the beaches of Tijuana. Tijuana first flourished during the American Prohibition as an alcohol oasis for Hollywood and SoCal. In a way, it still serves this purpose, but now for affordable dentistry and female companionship. The walk from the border into town is full of offers for Viagra and root canals. Wow, mucho gusto. This time crossing through, I wanted to see Ensenada, where not only Titanic was filmed, but where the fish taco and the margarita was first invented. I was still wearing all my VidCon bullshit, so in a lot of this I'm gonna look like a total tool.
Fuck, I forgot that part. Start over. This is good.
Most people see this city from port as their cruise ship docks, not driving down from TJ where many lanes of road are crumbling into the sea and the coasts are peppered with the skeletons of failed Trump condos. We crashed at Matingas' friend's house, La Casa Famoso, on a hill overlooking everything. There are many places in town claiming to have invented the margarita in the 1920s, though the most popular opinion here seems to be Who songs. The bands were always playing, and for $5 you can get either a frozen or iced margarita, always very, very, very strong. When a cruise docked, they got inundated with gringos, but honestly, am I any different? The seafood in Ensenada is the freshest I've ever had. It felt like with each bite you could taste different depths of the ocean. On the way back to the border, we passed through Tijuana again, fed Matingas's cats. And I had the best street tacos of my life. They were lengua, or cow tongue, the only food that tastes you back. Crossed back into the US and spent the night in LA so I could bear witness to my friend's dumpster Chili's chair he found. And then I left. What else is there to see? It's not unlikely you've been to Vegas, but have you ever driven there? There's absolutely nothing for hours in any direction, and then suddenly there's this glistening, massive gambling oasis where every place has a quirky theme and nowhere dares to be normal. It first grew as a playground for the builders of the Hoover Dam. It grew even more with the help of the mafia, and half a century later, the population doubled in order to facilitate exploding the desert. It made me think maybe there was something in common with everywhere I had been stopping on this trip. I was seeing places that first originated for frivolous reasons, be it entertainment, crime, or simply abandoned minds who forgot their donkeys. More on that later. For now,
tonight we have a patient weighing in. If she weighs over 350, she will be eating for free today. Woo!
the Heart Attack Grill is cheeky at first until you realize, oh, they're serious. 3 of their own spokespeople have died from heart failure. Multiple customers have died eating there. And if you talk to anyone there, they'll agree, yep, you should not be eating our food. We do not recommend any of this. Especially their Willy Wonka of a CEO who displayed the cremated remains of the deceased spokes guy during his TV interview. The indignities began when they made us dress in hospital gowns and explained that not only is the food extremely unhealthy, you will be physically punished if you don't finish, and no, you may not share your plates.
We do not allow the splitting or sharing of our larger burgers whatsoever.
All the burgers and fries are cooked in lard. All the milkshakes have like the world's highest amount of butter fat in them. If you're over 350 pounds or happen to become 350 pounds during your meal, it's free. They weigh you and there's all this pageantry, and these guys seem pretty happy about it, but the whole thing still struck us as humiliation fetishy. We all left with no regrets and a good story, but also quiet, reflective, a little heavier, and pretty bummed out. There's a lot of fun weird in Vegas, though. Like the ice bar under Mandalay Bay. Yes, everything is ice. Your cup erodes a little with each sip, and if you don't use a coaster, it slides away. Overall, Las Vegas is always a lot for me, but hey, if you miss the cigarette way the world smelled up until the late 90s, or if you can tune out the sound of at least 3 songs colliding everywhere you go, nothing wrong with that. The city's there for you. Have fun. We decided to venture out into the desert to check off some bucket list stuff. First up, the Hoover Dam. It was huge, majestic, and the concrete was amplifying the 115-degree July heat to the point where each breath felt like the wave when you open an oven. After parking, we stayed maybe 10 minutes. Not too far away, we stopped at the statue of Alabama, the Teepee Man. During the construction of the dam, Alabama arrived at the site from no one really knows where and did the uncoveted job of cleaning the toilets in the extreme heat. I couldn't corroborate this anywhere on the internet, but we heard a story there about an instance where he fell into the effluents, got rescued out, only to jump back in because his sandwich lunch was in his jacket pocket down there. Alabama, the TV man, cleaned the toilets when they built the Hoover Dam. You can raise up all your statues of famous men of war, but the heroes needed most just clean the can. Wiping down our hearts is Alabama. The western entrance to the Grand Canyon is the only privately owned side of the canyon, so for about $65 per person you can get bussed out to Guano Point, which is gorgeous despite the name never being explained on the tour. It was an even hotter day than the Hoover Dam, so a lot of my footage came out warped or glazy. Apparently a woman died of heat exhaustion the same day we were there. Due to the holiday, the nearest place to stay was way out in Chloride, a former mining boom town that essentially mined all it could by the 1910s, and as a result has barely had a population over 200 since. Even the family-run hotel appeared to be the only business in town, though its restaurant had the best food this whole trip. I talked to the trucker who had cooked it, and he was super nice, even if expressing his distaste in that I was visiting from New York. We had read about a former town off Route 66 a couple hours away. Oatman was another mining boom town that ran dry in the 1910s. It was completely abandoned along with all of the miners' donkeys. Over generations, the donkeys interbred, and now it's the only town in the world where free-roaming donkeys outnumber humans, and by a lot.
Don't eat the poop.
Really not many people there. There's 1 or 2 shops. one restaurant, but by and large, this place is for the burros. Finally, it was July 4th, and I had a red-eye flight out of Vegas. Apparently, it's the only week of the year in which it's legal to shoot fireworks in Nevada. So every direction you looked, they were popping off. It was fun to watch after taking off, and thinking about all these places that existed for silly reasons. I miss the donkeys already.